Welcome to this episode of Mindful Medicine. I'm your host, Tracy Jones, and today we are with Brenda Workman of BrendaWorkmanSpeaks.com. Welcome, Brenda.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
I would love for you to tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you have a wonderful transformation story where you went through a major weight release in your life and just a whole person transformation, pretty much. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. For probably over 20 years, I had high cholesterol. I fought my weight for years and years, most of my adult life, and it was like so many other people, it was the yo-yo dieting I always felt like I was on a healthy diet, but I would feel deprived, so I'd go off the diet, then I would gain back what I'd lost, and I did that over and over and over my entire adult life. And then suddenly, about 5 years ago, I developed high blood pressure as well. And so I did what a lot of people do. I went to Dr. Google and I typed in, what if you have high cholesterol and high blood pressure? And it said, typically it leads to heart disease. And so I called my doctor because I discovered this at home. I called him and made an appointment because I knew I had to. And meanwhile, I'm giving this much thought and I'm thinking, is this the way you want your life to go? Do you want a good quality of life as you age, or do you want a poor quality of life? And we had been dealing with aging parents who had a very poor quality of life. So did a lot of reflecting before I ever stepped in the doctor's office. When I went, to my surprise, he of course started me on meds, but to my surprise, he said, I've done looked at some data, and I believe that if you go on a plant-based diet, I believe that you may see differences in these conditions that you have. And I guess you could say I was just at the point where I was ready to make a change. And I realized that it wasn't about weight loss anymore. That's what I had dealt with my whole adult life. Now it was about health. Like, it was really about health now and what direction I was going to go. So I took him at his word. I followed the doctor's order. I learned all that I could, and that was a very different lifestyle for me because I wasn't educated on plant-based eating. But I started doing it, jumped in with both feet, ordered cookbooks, watched, podcast, did everything that I could to learn as much as I could, and that was this spring will be 5 years, and it's been nonstop 100% whole food plant-based eating. As a result, the first year I lost 40 pounds, the second year I lost 20 additional pounds. It didn't take long till he started decreasing my medicine, and finally about 3 months in, he took me off of the blood pressure meds and eventually took hypertension off my chart. And then the day, I think it was about 8 months in, I'll never forget it, I went in and he said, I've decreased your cholesterol meds several times. I'm just going to take you off of cholesterol meds. I went out in the parking lot, sat in my car and cried because I thought all I did was change my food. I didn't really go to the gym every day. I didn't do anything else. I just changed my food, and I couldn't believe the power there is in food. As they say, there's power in your plate. Mm-hmm. And so it was crazy. And I was so grateful that he took the time to talk to me about lifestyle change. And so, so I have more energy. I'm not on those meds anymore. It's just been remarkable.
So it was definitely a different mind shift for you. You were very mindful, I would think, in everyday choices. You were very mindful in teaching yourself what to eat, why to eat, and what about those times that you really wanted that snack?
I remember one particular time in particular. It was probably the last time that I had a major craving, and this was like 3 weeks into eating 100% whole food, plant-based. I was on my way home from work and I had a bad day, and always in the past I had to pass Dairy Queen on the way home, and I guess you could say it was almost like an alcoholic stopping by the bar. Mm-hmm. I was the person who stopped by Dairy Queen and got the biggest whatever it was I was getting. And that day I had conversation in the car with myself, and I thought, I said, I guess other people talk to themselves too. And I said, is this what you want? You have to realize that it's not about weight anymore, Brenda. Now it's about health. So like you said, very mindful about what do I want moving forward. And for things to change, I have to change. I have to be the one to make the changes. Somebody's not going to do it for me. So I drove past Dairy Queen. I got home, and I actually feel like it was almost like a mourning that I went through of, I can imagine, because I feel like I was addicted to high-fat, high-sugar foods, and I can imagine that a person who's addicted to some other substance, there has to be like a clashing of, I never want to do that again, it's destroying my life, but I do want to do that because I enjoy doing that. And so that struggle happened that day, but I didn't give in. I got past it, and I'll be honest with you, I really haven't had that kind of craving since. And the more I fill my body with this healthy food, the better I feel. And like I said, my lab results are good. So why would I ever want to go back to it, you know?
Right.
And so the cravings have gone away.
Right. I love what you said about that shift. The weight loss was really secondary to what you were doing.
Absolutely. It's about my health.
Yes, and that is one of the things that we love, because we are now partnering together with you on our mindful eating classes. And I would love for you to talk a little bit about the mindful eating classes and what you provide for people in this community here in the Tri-Cities area.
We just do like some plant-based education. So it could be maybe a video on how to prevent breast cancer. It could be a video on heart health and how food relates. Maybe we don't have a video at all. Maybe we're doing a topic, like we're doing soups. Here's a bunch of plant-based, delicious, healthy soups. Or here's some Buddha bowls that you can make at home very easily. So each time that I come, I do these cooking classes, cooking demos. And there's something about being there in person where you're smelling the food cook. You're seeing me do it. So you leave thinking, you know what? I could do that very easily at home. And then you're going home with recipes. So you could stop by the grocery store, pick up what I just got through making, and do it tomorrow. Or some people have told me they did it that night when they got home, so they would have, maybe a week's worth of recipes. So just providing people with practically, how do I make this work? How do I add more fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes? How do I add more of that into my life? Because I feel like the more you add of these foods, the more you begin to push out the highly processed, unhealthy food. So it's always good to learn new recipes and new ways of doing things.
And your taste buds change.
Absolutely. Yes, they do.
You stop craving those things as much.
Yeah, and this food is so high fiber, and that's what we need. We need a lot, Americans need a lot more fiber in their diet. And so this food is high fiber, and so you eat and you feel like, sometimes I have people leave the cooking classes and they say, I'm stuffed. And I'm just like giving them sample sizes of everything, but they're stuffed, so.
Right. And they're beautiful in color.
Oh, yes.
And I know you talk a little bit about that on your website, about using color with your foods.
Yes.
And how it appeals to the eye.
It does. I think it's remarkable, actually, that, we are attracted when we walk in the produce section of, oh, gosh, look at all the color. And it's the same way when we're eating our food. When it has variety of texture, it has variety of color, taste. It's just more satisfying than processed stuff that most Americans eat in the standard American diet. So yeah, the more color, the more nutrition, and I just love all the recipes. Like, it's endless what you can make.
Right. And then I have to say, for me personally, just doing plant-based eating and then thinking about, maybe eventually I could start my own little garden and grow some of my own foods that I could then use in those recipes is very exciting.
Yes, even if you could do them in containers, and grow even herbs or whatever to put into your food. There's something about going outside and picking it and bringing it in and chopping it up and putting it in your food that is just so rewarding. It really is. And you know it's fresh. It didn't drive across the country for 2 days before it got to you, or longer.
Very true.
Or
Right.
longer.
Right.
You went out and picked it. So yeah, we have a backyard garden at our house. We have for many years, and they are work, but it's very rewarding to go pick. And ours is not humongous.
Right.
It just serves us.
Right.
You know.
Right. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And I just want to re-emphasize that if people want to learn more about you, they can go to your website at brendaworkmanspeaks.com.
Right.
Or any of our collaborative workshops that we have here with you, they can go to our website, integratedhealthconcepts.org, and click on the events and see what kind of classes that you and Brandy have coming up together.
Yes, and also I'm on Facebook and Instagram. It's under Brenda Workman Speaks. So when I'm going to be here with you guys, I always advertise that so folks will come.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
great. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And thank you for watching this episode of Mindful Medicine. Remember, you are loved.